Welcome to Deep Dive Daily.
Good morning. Happy Juneteenth, Andy. I know how important this holiday is to you. How you asked me if we were even going to record today because this is typically a day off. But we grind. We work through the holidays.
Federal holiday.
Yeah, we work on Thanksgiving. We work on Christmas. We work on Juneteenth. Let's talk about the NBA, who will also be playing and working today. The game 7, which is our first closeout game opportunity for the NBA Finals, is tonight. The Thunder are 6-point favorites on the way to 6.5. Most of the steam has been supporting the Thunder because of the injury to Tyrese Halliburton. We talked about this a couple of days ago, and the injury didn't look good then. It opened at 4.5, 5, which didn't make sense. So I already have a bunch of alt Thunder staked. I think this is it.
Yeah, it said game time decision. That's never good when it's a closeout game or an elimination game in their point. Seems, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning 70-30. He doesn't go now.
Really?
Because of that. I don't know. I don't follow NBA injuries, but just like the fact that they said that instead of like he's gonna go, it's game 6. It's like, hey, because I was feeling like 50-50. You know how they say, oh, he's gonna go, and then sometimes it's still, well, he warmed up, it just wasn't feeling right. He can't do it. But like that didn't seem optimistic at all to me.
It's definitely not optimistic. I mean, if he does play, the idea that he's going to be effective offensively, I think is a pipe dream. He wasn't effective offensively in the second half of game 5. I don't know why he would all of a sudden be good now. I will say that your spidey sense is probably well supported by last year. I don't know if you remember correctly, but he got injured in game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston. Sure. And there was some, is he going to play? Is he going to play? And he did not play game 3 or game 4, and he was done. So that may be sort of the way it goes for him. I know that there was a lot of speculation that this was more serious than just a calf and that it was potentially some Achilles, and the idea of pushing him in an elimination game. I mean, you're 2 wins away from a title.
I like this. Brad B-Rad says parlay all Hali alt unders.
And then
Hali.
You can I
don't always call him Hali. Hali is a Hindu holiday or an Indian holiday. Hali. I'm going to call him Hali because that's how you say his name. Parlay all Hali alt unders in case he tries and fails. I don't hate that because if he sits, it just voids.
Yeah.
If you're absolutely wrong, you probably lose, but you played alt, so you went. You went for it. It was a high risk or a low risk, high reward kind of thing. And if he goes out there and plays 10 minutes and just he can't hack it, you can have a nice payout. That's a good call.
Yeah, you can fist bump and celebrate in the second quarter when his Achilles goes. You should be like,
Jesus Christ. I hate doing that, but I've cheered for some injuries. Like, God, one of the Alabama running backs, from like 7-8 years ago when they were just churning out a big, first round running back every year. Maybe it was Trent. One of them got hurt in like a national title game and had to sit the second half, and I had an under, and I remember him going down. I'm like, stay down. like just feeling filthy about it. That's why unders are tough to bet because it makes you a bad person.
The downside tails in your favor though.
That's true. Yes, congrats to the Rockies win streak. I just threw the shirt on today and I had a different hat, but then I saw the Coors hat over there. I'm like, I should make it an outfit.
Double it up.
I can't leave the office like this. Like I have to go to Costco later. I'm gonna switch hats back because that's a weird look, right? Out in public, like double.
Have you ever been to Golden, Colorado?
Oh, I've taken the tour.
You have?
Yeah, it's a fun family story because my 13-year-old, this is how long ago this was like in a baby Bjorn thing on my wife's chest.
So she couldn't.
No, she accidentally spilled
beer in the light.
She accidentally spilled like not a bunch, but a decent amount of beer on our infant daughter's head. And I'm like, oh my God. Like just making it like that's horrible. Who's watching this kid? I was a nice brewery, and that's just a nice area. After we did the brewery, we did the Rocky Mountain Trail or whatever, where you go up and around and you come through Estes Park, and it doesn't look that long, but then it's like 6 hours later you get back.
I love it. Okay, we should mention the Rockies are winning. Their season long win total, I think, got as low as 34.5. I've never seen a win total win total that low. I think they're gonna make it. I think they're gonna get to 40. They've definitely stabilized the absolute shit show that they have going on. But we want to talk one more thought about the NBA finals before we move on, and that is the MVP, which right now stranglehold in favor of SGA. He is minus 800, which don't agree. I think there is absolutely a world where if this is competitive game and Jalen Williams has another game like he has had the last two, where it looks like, he is, the fresher, the more explosive, the less defendable of the two, major offensive pieces on this Thunder team, he can steal this thing for sure, in my opinion. I think in a game where this is just blowout city and it's not competitive, it's probably just SGA coronation. I think in a game where the Thunder suck and the Pacers force a game 7, it's his buzz kind of fizzles a little bit. But in a game where it's somewhat close going into the fourth quarter and Jalen Williams has, an amazing fourth quarter, he 100% can steal this. This is a tiny voting pool. The story to tell about the finals so far is not, it is like, in a relative sense, she's taking a little bit of a step backwards. He's a little tired. He's being well defended. They're forcing someone else to beat them, and Jalen Williams has been that guy. And so I think there is a lot of potential for vibes shift to kind of push Williams into the conversation, despite the fact that his counting stats are never going to sniff SGA's. It might not matter. Now, this is not like last year at all. Last year where Tatum, got sniped by Jaylen Brown, that was much more about like Tatum opened the door himself because he was shooting like a clown, and he, really just, most of his impact in that series was
a clown.
But yeah, I would in general be very, very prepared for the J. Will.
You think 5-1 is bettable still?
I would look at Bookmaker, which currently has 775.
Oh, even better. Even better. I pulled up one book and it was not the correct one apparently.
775.
You think 775 is bettable?
Yes, I do. I think he has something like a 20% chance. So I wouldn't bet 5-1, but I would bet 750 or 775.
I might bet him that, and then maybe find an alt PRA as well.
Because that's the other thing is
at like a lower number, just be like, because I'm going to be pissed if he has a really nice night, but so does SGA and he doesn't win it. So I'm going to find something around the 2-1 range on the alt points, rebounds, assists.
Yeah.
And just in case it's like a Bash Brothers, they're both doing it up.
Here's the thing though, is that SGA and the way that the Pacers are defending him is nothing is solvable there. Like they are working especially hard on offense to get Nembhard off him, to shake him, and that ultimately isn't even creating especially good looks for SGA. So I don't think Dagenau is going to go super hard to make sure SGA gets his opportunities in this one.
He just wants the trophy, the important trophy.
Yes, and the flip side is there is no defending Jay Williams. They don't have a good enough rim defender. The only rim protection that the Pacers have to speak of is Miles Turner, and J Dub can absolutely out physical Turner, no question. So I mean, if J Dub's like airmails his first four or five threes, then it's obviously in his head. We're probably going to game 7 at that point, if we're being honest, because he has to have a good game to get them this win, I think. I'm definitely, my mind is open that there's going to be a surprise here, because the vibes are very clearly like Yeah, and speaking of vibes,
I love vibes betting though too.
Oh, that is this in a nutshell, because it's 11
Which
people
sport, the four major sports
who are put on the spot and given a ballot and say vote now, and they're like vibes, like that's literally exactly how it comes. And so it's okay,
yeah, oh yeah, you're prisoner of the moment a little bit too. And which of the four major sports is the most vibes based?
Clearly the NBA.
Clearly the NBA. No,
not even close. There's also the potential backdoor of people coming into this series with a little bit of a god dang it, like the public is against SGA. They don't like the foul merchant stuff. They don't like they maybe are a little hesitant to give him a third MVP. Like all of those are real factors.
I feel it.
So I'm not saying this is the bet of the game. I don't see anything else really that's bettable in that ballpark tonight, at least. So we ride Jalen Williams.
You know what? You started that by saying Stranglehold, and that has got that song in my head. Because it came on like my Spotify the other day, and I'm like, we live in a weird society too, because I don't feel like people used to have to think about like, oh man, this guy's a pedophile probably, but guy, can he shred? Because Ted Nugent, not just put the political stuff aside, a little problematic, but fuck, Stranglehold's a pretty good song.
I have a rooting interest in the NBA draft, Andy.
Oh, which one? I've been following a little bit of the Ace Bailey stuff.
Ace Bailey to go 6th. We talked about it a couple of days ago. I didn't think Bookmaker was going to give me plus 650 for him to go 6th after Draft Express put him there. But they did. So I bet it. And then I bet it again and again and again. And I have a pretty decent actual stake now on Ace to go 6th to the Wizards. I don't have intel that says this happens. It's just that I can't find a reasonable out for him in the top 5. The fact that his team was trying their hardest to get a single one shot, one kill with the 3rd overall pick, and the Sixers just weren't interested. That was obviously a bit of a miss. And either you do that because you're incompetent, or you do that because you have a landing spot at a place where you're going to get a little bit more of the offensive share of the pie. Wizards make sense. Brooklyn makes sense. But I think ultimately 6 is kind of feels right now. So I played that. I think the last time I clicked it was around 400, and it's in the 250-ish range most places.
Okay, he's the bigger guy from Rutgers, right?
Smaller guy.
Well,
smaller than he was expected to be. But
I don't know, but he's
bigger than the other guy.
Front court.
Yeah,
Rutgers.
yeah. He's like a small forward.
I watched some Rutgers. I kind of think he sucks.
He is the taller of the two from Rutgers, right?
Oh, look at that. Okay. I'm not great at evaluation in any college sport, 2 pros, but we'll see. Someone will take him.
That's right. If I had to say right now, I think it goes Flag, Harper, VJ, Trey, or Khan 4th. I bet some Fears 5th. There's definitely a world where Utah goes point guard, and that's Fears. I think 6th is Ace. 7th is whoever's left out of that. Trey, Khan, or Malak. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a Duke kid. Malak. He could go 7th. And then after that, who the hell knows? 8th, 9th, 10th are all massive question marks for me. So NBA draft, a lot of work left to do. But
it does feel it feels awesome. Like that, where there's that.
I hate bets like this, by the way. I hate them. Like when you have one out and it requires no trades or a trade, like, oh, these are the worst. These are awful bets.
Especially when there's a really good chance there's a trade at the top.
Yeah, of course.
I think there's some value if you do your homework and you start to follow and connect some dots. There's probably some value in that, like 8 to 12, 8 to 15 range, because every year you see that in the NBA where there's just a bunch of reaches based on we like this kid or we need this position, and we're a lottery team that probably could start this kid. Like we want him and get him over there to Vegas in 2 weeks, and we're gonna start this kid even though he was projected to go a little further. It does seem like there's always some reaches in that range. I think he can take some bigger prices there. I just don't know who. I haven't spent a lot of time on it yet.
I really want some over-unders on Bookmaker. It's right now it's just exact picks, and that is dancing with the devil. You're going to get bigger prices that way, but your certainty is just not real high. So I would love some prices on guys in the teens and 20s who we know are for sure going in the teens or are not going in the teens, right? Like I think that's where the money's going to be made in this draft. So I'm holding out hope for some of those. Like I would much rather be laying 3 and 400 on over-unders that we know are 100% than betting these exact markets. But that said, I do think ace, 6th, whiz, all those all those are connecting. All those dots are connecting.
Have you seen over-under for him anywhere? I have not.
Who, ace?
Yes.
Well, there's top 5 for him.
Sure, but no over-under. Is a yes, no?
There's a yes, no on that, yeah. At Kalshi, for what it's worth, is turning into an interesting place to bet these propositions.
Question on that. I've been looking into that because I think it's a lot of those. It's just like you're sketched out at first. Like, is this somewhere I want to put my money?
Still sketched out. Yeah.
But is that kind of just like legal anywhere, or is it sweepstakes?
I can tell you.
States only, or somebody hit me up and let me know.
I'm not gonna swing around over there more than probably 4 figures ever until maybe another year of like it's operating everywhere and no one's taking it down.
No one's had like a bad story about it yet.
Yeah.
No, right. But it feels like something I've wanted for a long time.
Yeah, same.
I see people betting on Polymarket. I want to do that without having to like text someone in Europe.
Yeah, or use a VPN and potentially get suspended. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's truly working, legal, paying out, and I mean the model for it there shouldn't be a liquidity issue. I mean they just said it's very what do you call it? Almost exchange based, pretty much. So you wouldn't think there'd be some, because that's the main thing is like, am I going to get paid?
Yeah, exactly.
Or second fear is, does this get shut down and my funds are locked up?
Yes. Yeah. Is someone going to come up with a reason to suspend my account and withhold my winnings/deposit?
I'm going to put some money in it.
I'm splashing around in there now, but it's again like I'm kind of treating this like who's the other? There's been a couple
forecasters.
I was actually thinking of like Prize Picks, right? Like
Prize Picks is. I mean, they have ground to stand on now.
Yeah, I've dabbled in like 6 of these. I feel like now, and I've always been keeping it very, very tepid in terms of what I'm ultimately at risk.
Yeah, I mean, I've had places go tits up and lost money.
Shit, yeah, man. Some of the first and worst experiences I've had in betting were that based on.
I mean, just recently, I've put just because they have such good, I'll do some bonus hunting and stuff, and some of these sweeps casinos that have sports betting, they have some pretty good offers where it's like, what if I paid 60 cents on the dollar for the money that was in this betting account? It would be a lot easier to win, even if the lines weren't perfect. And there was one, and they just kept like, hey, they kept like texting, or not texting, but like their messages would pop up like, hey, we got another offer for you. It's like, pay 50 cents on the dollar for stuff. And then suddenly one day it was like, oh, guess what? We're shutting down.
Oh.
And all your money is gone.
Oh.
Like, I know people had more in there, but it was a bad experience. It feels bad. What was it? Wessex did that one screw anyone over? That was like
yes.
I'm trying to think of the one that got you like
Wessex
15 years ago.
Wessex and God, I want to say it was 08 maybe.
Yeah,
but I will like, admit we were. I say we like I was not part of some syndicate, but I was kind of taught how to play some fun bonus games there, and we were running amok with running up some accounts, and basically they knew I'm assuming they knew that that they were on the clock, and nobody was ever so nobody was paying attention. Like they were asleep at the wheel because they knew it was all just going to go away, so they didn't care. And I thought I was getting rich and ultimately got nothing. So
one kind of final thought on the Kalshi, just that model. What was the one with the political stuff that was just straight political stuff? Predict It,
yeah,
Predict It, and Polymarket and all those ones. We talk about the difference in odds between American, decimal, the difference in how Americans and Europeans bet, honestly, based on how the odds work. There is something about the what do you want to call it? Just the fractional cents out of a dollar thing that makes it a lot more stomachable to bet a huge favorite.
Yeah.
I have Kalshi open. Joey Chestnut, 93 cents.
That's 7 cents free. That's 7 free cents.
So in my mind, it's like, oh, they're giving away dollars for 93 cents.
Yeah.
But if you go on a sports book, it's like, well, I'm not betting minus 8,000. Like that's lunacy. What are we doing here? Like I couldn't stomach punching that into a sports book. It's like the same thing. I don't know if I get the number quite right, but
no, that's close. I think that's well said. I completely agree.
Crazy.
I'm not
the
free money.
The psychological difference there is
that's really
massive funny. In my head for some reason.
It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Good time.
Not much else for sports. I haven't really been paying attention to the World Series of Baseball. Sorry, Arkansas. That was a fun team. LSU is just a truck. What are you going to do?
Don't let them get hot.
I had lunch yesterday, and there was soccer on, and it was a replay of a Copa Sudamerica qualifier. So that's where we're at. We're at the doldrums, guys. That's why Drew and I talked TV and movies for like 20 minutes after the podcast last night. Yes.
Speaking of, you were recommending Silo, which I haven't seen, so I started that yesterday.
Yeah,
it's just the dead ripoff of Fallout. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, Fallout came out in like 1997, the first video game.
Yeah, this is the way is clearly like somebody was like, "Oh, this is an interesting idea. What if we don't leave the Fallout shelter?"
Yeah, I mean it gets good though. Becky's good. Okay. I'm actually reading the book because I've read the books years ago.
I was like, oh shit, and you look at like the show creator, it's guys behind like the Americans, and there was a couple of ones he worked on Justified. He worked on Slow Horses. I was like, oh man, like this must be good.
I do enjoy that. I loved Fallout. I like I can't think of her name. She's in Yellow Jackets, she's in Fallout, she's in a few things. I'll think of it, but
the Fallout Girl,
and obviously Walton Goggins is great in that, and everybody else who's in it. Fallout's very good. This is different, darker, and there's some good like psychological elements to it for like
Ella
Purnell. If you treat a group of people a certain way, or how you have to mind fuck a group of people, so it's pretty good. I enjoyed Silo. It's crazy though thinking about watching the show, and it's kind of the same conversation we had about several shows, because I've watched the show. Obviously, they're making more. They're not through everything, but it started as like a book, a short story, and honestly, I think the first book is like done. After like the first episode, that's it. So he wrote like 5 more of those, and then he made a couple the author, I can't think of his name. He made a couple longer Hugh Howey?
Sounds right.
He made a couple longer books after that are also, in the same world, and I think one's a prequel. I don't remember those as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm reading the book, and the pacing in the book is like breakneck. It's like, Jesus, I got like halfway through the book, and basically at, you're through 2 seasons of Silo. It's like, because I remember this, I'm like, what the fuck? How is this happening already? Like that, we were just, it was like 20 pages is like 4 episodes on
Interesting.
the show.
Why in the world did they bloat it like that for the television?
I don't know. Yeah, people coming back. So
not coming back, but just like logging hours. Like, oh my God.
I did start Department Q last night, even though you said it wasn't, the greatest. Yeah. I like the premise. The pilot was good. I like some of the characters.
Yeah. If they had solved a case per episode, that would have been the right pacing for that show, instead of like solving a case across 10 or 9, whatever the fuck season 1 is. It was way too slow. Way too slow.
Well, then you just have poker.
My Department Q thoughts are complicated. I'll see what you tell me. I won't shade it anymore. You tell me.
I only was able to watch 2 last night. I had some other stuff to do, but I watched a couple last night, and then God, what was it? What was I just talking about?
I was just still cracked up because Silo, 2 episodes in, you're just like, how the fuck did they just rip off Fallout? Like, this is crazy. And then you start Googling it, and there's a Reddit thread where somebody's like, literally like, Silo Fallout is just a ripoff of Fallout, right? And then that guy Hugh jumped into the Reddit thread and was like, I liked Fallout as the game I played when I was younger. And you're like, so you obviously borrowed from this. He's like, but it was totally original thought. I was like, what if some people were living in a missile silo, abandoned missile silo? It's like, that's not what this is. It's clearly a constructed pod for people to survive an apocalyptic hellscape of an Earth. Like, that's not a converted missile silo. What are you talking about? So it was quite funny to see the author jump in personally to try to defend cribbed work.
It is crazy though. Like, original ideas for TV and shows. I mean, it's not finite, because you can always mix things up a little, but
yeah,
I mean, there's not much new. I mean, the biggest movies are like Oppenheimer, which is just something that happened. Yeah. Dune, which was, a book series from the 70s.
I told you yesterday, I went to the movies for the first time in 7-ish years.
Yeah.
And the previews were like, they're remaking the Fantastic Four. They're remaking Superman, and both of those made me want to scream, because they're like, they're taking Pedro Pascal off of television to put him on this garbage. Like, what? Like, why? Why would you take him off of TV, prestige TV, put him on that? And then you're like, and then the gal from Mrs. Maisels and what was her other big role? House of Cards, Rachel Brosnahan. She's absolutely an awesome actress. Like, you're pulling her off of prestige TV to make fucking Superman again? Like, good Lord. Like, every single preview we saw was like, number 1, this is not for me. And number 2, they're taking amazing actors off of television and putting them in terrible movies. What are we doing here? And just like kind of close the loop on all of this, cribbing and borrowing and stealing and all that. Like, literally Department Q. There's literally somebody in the Netflix, pitch office was like, man, Slow Horses is really building up.
Yeah, no, it is. It's Slow Horses.
Like, what if we did Slow Horses, but in Edinburgh, and instead of spies, it's cops?
It's the scene from Coming to America. No. That we have the Big Mick, not the Big Mac. We don't have the Sesame Seeds.
Yeah,
because it is. I mean, and the article I read, I just was looking. I'm like, hey, what are the best shows right now? Just I need something new. And one called it like a less acerbic Slow Horses.
Yes, instead of spies, it's cops. Instead of London, it's in Edinburgh. Wonderful, incredible.
What movie did you see, Drew? Most importantly,
Mission Impossible, the new one. I went to see it because somebody who I trusted was like the sequence, the 2 main action sequences, one where he goes into a submarine underwater, and then the one where he's doing the biplane. This is like, you got to see those on a big screen. And so I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I
I'm
loved
gonna go
it.
tomorrow.
I loved it. That movie was weirdly under appreciated. People were like kind of too lost in trying to understand the plot. I guess this is the first time you've ever seen a Mission Impossible movie. You just suspend disbelief about the plot and enjoy the action sequences.
Yeah, it all comes together at the end, you guys.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go watch F1 on IMAX tomorrow.
Ooh, nice. Night. That sounds fun as hell.
You got your and again, that's not like original. It's like, hey, let's take a sport that's popular and make a movie about it. Hey, what if we did Days of Thunder again? Except with F1 cars.
They are going to, aren't they?
I mean, probably. They already remade Days of Thunder. Or excuse me, Days of Thunder was just Top Gun with cars.
Yeah, and then they made Talladega Nights, which was parody of Days of Thunder.
The parody.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the original. Oh, speaking of, the last movie I saw was the live action How to Train Your Dragon, which was like a shot-for-shot remake. Still good. My kids loved it, but
it was not original IP, is what you're telling me.
Well, and the last preview I saw come across my feed was a Springsteen biopic, which actually Jeremy Allen White looks pretty Springsteen. God
damn it, does he look?
He looks pretty Springsteen-y.
That's he looks spooky. I'm sure that'll be good, even though I don't especially like Springsteen. Now that I've kind of come around on these musical biopics,
you like Springsteen? He's
not
fine.
Really. Not really.
He's fine.
He's got like one song.
You know that
he's got a bunch of songs. He's got one song that I will turn up. Everything else.
What is it? Born to Run?
No,
the Thunder Road, Rosalita.
Fire, the
hey,
yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. That's the only one I'll turn up. The rest of them they go right by me. Right by me.
There's a have you ever heard of the band Hot Chip?
Yes, I know Hot Chip.
They do a cover of, I think it's Dancing in the Dark.
Oh, sure. Dancing in the Dark is fine, but
I know, but it's not infinitely better than Springsteen's version. One final Springsteen thought before, and then we'll call it a day. I have a friend, and I haven't talked to him in a while, but in high school, he was
I'm
one of
on
the.
Fire. Sorry.
I'm on fire. One of the most disgusting individuals when it came to he'd sleep with anything kind of thing. Like he was a womanizer, big party guy, fun dude, but just a man's man. And we were talking about Springsteen one day, and I think somebody said what their favorite song was, and he's like, I kind of like Secret Garden. It's like that is the softest, like girliest song ever. Then I bet he said this to me 15 years ago, and it's just stuck with me. Like, what? Go listen to Secret Garden. Not one of his hard songs.
How? All right. Well, I'm sure I'll see it and I'll like it. If I like Bob Dylan, I'm sure I'll like the movie.
I like every biopic that have all been.
The Queen movie was good. The Johnny Cash movie was good. Those were all good. All right, let's call it.
See you guys.
I can't wait to ask one on Monday.
I'm pumped to see it. I'm tempted to get the membership at my theater.
They really were pushing that hard.
Yeah.
The recliners were a surprise. I didn't know that theaters were all just recliners.